Pizza platter, straight up like that.
What's up, y'all?
This is the For Better or Worse podcast. My wife is working like always, and technically I am too, I guess, a
Yeah,
little bit. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to the couples. Shout out to the married folks. Shout out to the people just starting off in relationship. Shout out to the people in the honeymoon phase. Remember honeymoon phase?
yeah, so sweet,
So
so
nice.
cute.
It was nice. Yeah, shout out to all that. This is technically episode 2, or yesterday was just like a welcome back
Yeah,
type thing. We talk about relationship stuff. We talk about financial stuff. We are business owners. We actually own a vocational school, a cosmetology school here in Tucker, Georgia. We talk about family. We talk about communication. What else we talk about?
we talk about struggles. We talk
Definitely talk
about
about struggles.
finances. We talk about team building. We talk about getting money. We talk about hustling. We talk about overcoming, being triumphant. Staying in unit, staying locked in. We talk about solutions.
Definitely like to talk about solutions because if you talk about the problems, you got to talk about solutions. And marriage is a tough thing in 2023. That's what a lot of
Yeah,
people are saying. Um, Marriage is it depends. It can be challenging at times. I think that's definitely a fair a fair statement.
statement.
You know what I'm saying? It could be a lot of things, but one thing marriage can definitely be, or a relationship can be, man, it could be beautiful when two people work towards making sure that it's beautiful.
One common goal.
Yeah, man. Aside from that, what's on your mind?
Man, right now I'm gonna be honest. What's on my mind is it's just a lot of new great things going on right now. I wanted to drop this jewel. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop it now. If you are interested in purchasing a home and you have a minimum credit score of 600, um, please, please, please reach out to me. Um, it's a very very easy qualification, and it's 100% FHA financing, which means you can literally get your home for like a couple $1,000s and be locked into a really good mortgage. Considering the way that the economy is going, everybody needs to have a piece of land, some ownership, a deed, something. So it's a great time to lock in. And if you want information about it, I'll be happy to drop that jewel. You can send me an email at www.lastinglayersofbeauty.com and just send it to operations at Lasting Layers of Beauty. And I'll be happy to share that information with you.
Learn how to buy a house.
Yeah.
Learn how to buy. How?
600 minimum credit score.
Yeah. And if you don't know how to get to a 600 minimum credit score, we could probably show you pathways to do that as well, and not the cheat code way. You're gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
do a little work, but once you're there, you keep going. Anything else?
Yep, and it's gonna last for only another 60 days. I just got the information. So you can actually email benjamin.kelly at dvlending.com. Again, that's benjamin.kelly at dvlending.com, and just let them know we sent you, the Willard, from the For Better or For Worse podcast, and he'd be happy to assist you. But it'll be 60 more days, 2 months. I promise you, you can get a house probably paying for like maybe even $1,000 down in some cases, depending on what city you in.
Facts.
You can get approved.
Another wonderful. What up,
Hey, what
Nicole?
up, Nicole?
Another wonderful reason to come and lock in with the For Better or Worse podcast because you don't know what type of information. We definitely trying to
Yeah,
give y'all information. We learned a lot of lessons. We've learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? We know how to do the things the wrong way and by messing and fail. You got to fail to get it right, right?
yeah,
But we're learning more and more as we embark on our journey as a married couple and take our finances serious and
yeah,
open businesses, stuff like that. We're learning what the right things are to do. And we're just trying to pass that on. We do know that when it comes to specific people, there's a learning gap. You know what I'm saying when it comes to financial literacy. So you're gonna see a lot of that from us too, man. We definitely gonna get into that. We definitely want to plug y'all with some information because it's different when somebody's saying, well, if you do this, you can this can be done versus if you do this is what has already been accomplished. So
Right.
yeah. Speaking of, I think that's a perfect segue. We work hard, right? And I'm asking everybody tonight. That's my asking y'all question of the day. Um, if you are in a relationship, if you're in a marriage, um, any of that, if you're engaged, what are y'all building together? To my people that are in serious, that are, we'll just say if you're in a serious relationship, what are y'all building together? How you feel about that question?
Man, that's a serious question. That's a serious question. I feel like, and it starts way before you're actually in a relationship. Even if you're dating somebody, what would you potentially try to build together? Do you even know what you would like to try to accomplish? Let's start there.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when we get with people, or it's quick, it's easy to fall in love, as they say. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? You can fall in love off the good feelings initially, right? And it's crazy because a lot of people are they're making long term commitments
Yeah,
in a short amount of time. They
no
don't.
doubt.
Yeah, it feels good right now, so I'm gonna promise you forever. I've only known you 2 days, but I'm gonna promise you forever, baby. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I did not promise her forever in 2 days. But what I'm saying is, it can
So
happen though.
then,
It can happen. I knew she was gonna be my wife the first day though. That's a whole nother conversation. Um, but aside from that, if you're making a long term commitments, when I say that, sometimes it's a child. Sometimes
mhm.
y'all, getting busy. You don't even know who you with. You bringing life into this world. Sometimes you might move in. Sometimes it
Yeah.
might be marriage. Whatever it is, a line that you cross quick. A certain line that I'm talking about that's hard to uncross. Have you really considered what you're gonna build long term with that person? Because a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it, especially when it comes to marriage. And you tell me how you feel about it.
Hmm.
Marriage is 50% business. I'm gonna look over here.
Maybe a little bit more than that, to be honest.
Ooh, because
And the only reason I say that is because it's definitely a binding contract. It's definitely a binding agreement that you sign when you get that certificate of marriage. You know what I mean? That's a binding agreement. That's business.
this is true. The very act. Well, at least over here with how we did. You got to get a certificate, right? You got to get permission. You got to get permission.
Yeah, you have to take extra steps, but even just
Even that, just
common,
going to the
you
courtroom, going to
gotta
the,
you
the
gotta go down
courthouse.
to the courthouse and get that paperwork.
Yeah, it's a process.
It's a
It's a
process.
legal process. It's a business. And I was also talking about the money aspect too. A lot
Hmm.
of time we don't know who we gonna end up spending money with. Like maybe you look good, but is you gonna make my pockets hurt? Is you gonna stress me out every week? Am I gonna want to go back to the streets because you like nice purses? And to my fellas, stop buying them purses and they ain't got nothing to put in. Never mind, we ain't gonna get in that. That's why I was talking about the money aspect too. I wasn't just talking. I didn't even think about the paperwork in the courthouse.
I got a question.
Hmm.
Maybe for some of the ladies on here, I'm just curious because he just said something and it kind of sparked my interest. Is how long do women normally wait before they ask for help financially right now when you're
What in
dating somebody?
2023?
Yeah, in
I seen a
2023.
I seen a joint on Instagram.
And how much?
Man, I seen a joint on Instagram, but it made sense to me. They said if you're sleeping with them, you should be able to ask them for money. You agree with that?
I
If
don't know
if
if
you
I.
giving if you giving, go ahead. My fault.
All right. So if before when I was dating, I feel like if I really needed the help, I should be able to. However, there was a point in my life where I wouldn't even date until I had me together. You know what I mean? But there was also a point where I wasn't all the way together and I was still dating. So I guess it depends on where you are as a person. But I do feel like At 40, definitely.
Yeah, but the culture is shifted now too, though.
Yeah.
Like when you listen to some of the rappers, like the female rappers, like they talk about
Man, when I was
trying to
young, I was getting Jordans. I was getting, and then when
ooh,
I got older, I was getting clothes. And when I got older than that, I was getting money and you know what I mean, bills paid. So I just feel like it depends on the culture too. I was in Detroit. I was younger though, and I was in a different place in my life, and that's what I'm saying. So that's why I say it kind of come down to the individual too, because I was like that. So I get both sides. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't say that I would be like that necessarily right now. I'm more on my independent, been on my independent, probably, but I had my mindset had to mature to get to that place. I feel like, and I'm not saying it's immature to ask either. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what kind of work you putting in.
Nicole Lynn says you shouldn't have to ask. Did you see the comment? You ain't even paying them. You ain't want to read that. You ain't agree with that.
I I do agree.
I agree with it.
You definitely shouldn't have to ask. I agree.
Your
I feel
man, your
like
man should be paying you attention and see where you're lacking and be trying. And it don't make you a sucker, fellas. It's just if you care for her and you're trying to build, there's nothing wrong with investing in your woman or spending money.
but you got to be able to communicate that too. And I know females that don't open up their mouth. So it depends. You know what I mean? If you trying to act like you got it all together and you all pieced together, how can somebody try to help you if you maybe you that type of person that I don't need nobody. I'm not asking nobody for no help. You know what I mean? So it depends. So some people have a way of masking and making it, seem like they got it all together where somebody might not even offer. It just depends on what type of person you're dealing with.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think like another reason I brought that up as far as and I see what you were saying on that. But another reason I brought it up is about what are you building? Because I want to kind of bring it back to that with your person, your significant other, whoever you with.
Man.
Nicole Lynch said facts is because the couple that's building something, the couple that's pursuing their dream, they're more likely to last because there's gonna be moments where you're gonna be like, man, I don't, you're on my last nerve right now. There's gonna be moments where things aren't clicking. Um, depending, we talked about it before. Hey, we went through miscarriage that was very hard. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
like super
Yeah,
traumatic stuff
both
that
of
you
us.
don't think
Yeah,
even gonna happen because you don't see your life like that.
right.
So it's like, how can you ever know how you gonna push through pain?
And I think one of the ways we pushed through pain and we stayed together, not saying we was going to
Hmm.
separate, but was the fact we had the school.
Yeah,
We had something that we were
had a
building.
dream.
So it's like we kind of had to snap back. We didn't
Hmm.
have time to really sit down for too long because we still seen our students. We still seen the promises we made. We still seen, you know, and that helped in a lot of ways. When you build it, but for me,
Hmm.
building something with your significant other, it's just harder. It's harder to walk away from the table. You second get it because it makes you deal with facts in the moment. A lot of couples they say things, they break up, whatever it is, and it's all emotion based. But if you
Hmm.
got something that snap you back, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the house isn't enough.
So I have
Sometimes
a
the family's
question.
not enough.
So what if that is the issue? Because you just said, what if the family is not enough?
Mm-hmm.
What if that dream together is to just have the best family? What if
Oh
that's
well, if
what
that
if
yeah
that's that person's
yeah
dream?
if that's that couple's dream and they just want to build a family, oh man, that's still that's an agreed dream that they're building together. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That yeah, it's for me again. It's about two people saying, you know what, I want that too. I want what you want what I want. We're gonna go at. We're gonna build it. We're gonna take the time, the energy, the effort. We're gonna sacrifice. We're gonna dedicate. We're gonna do what's needed in
Hmm.
order to make. So yeah, I think so because sometimes people they're not sharing the same dream. They're not
Hmm.
building. they're not building something that they both want
Mhm.
together. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So that it gets tricky. Sometimes it's one the one spouse, the husband or the wife is just support, but that's not what they really want.
Mhm.
That happens too. You
It
know what I'm
happens too.
saying? Probably more commonly with women. I think about, especially back in the day.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm gonna stay home with the kids, and you go pursue your career, make money. That's how it was back then. A lot of times,
Yeah.
maybe not now, but
Long time.
I don't know. And then you got a lot of fellas. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna definitely get into some things. But you got a lot of fellas that feel like they going extra hard for everybody around them, and they don't necessarily. It happens.
Yeah.
But
It does.
whoever you building with, though, just make sure y'all building like it's an agreed. Because it's an agreed upon thing. I think that's what I'm saying.
So, what types of things do you think people should be building?
How about trust? How about the ability to communicate? No, but well, yeah, yes to those things. I think first, in order to commit, like we have a business together.
Mhm.
In order for us to commit to building a business together,
Mhm.
we had to first establish trust. So build your foundation first,
Okay.
right? Make sure, like, if you want to buy a home with somebody, make sure they are who they are.
I was about to say, and then what if somebody don't? Because one person might not even want to buy a home.
One person might not want to buy a home.
I know people that would prefer apartment living,
Living
like just
downtown,
literally,
yeah.
or a condo, or
Don't have to cut the grass. Man,
all those things.
some people are dog people. Some people are not.
Some
These,
people are
these are
not.
the things, like when you're building, because we talk about building your future as well, building your life. These are things you have to discuss. Like literally, that probably don't get discussed enough. You know what I'm saying? What again? What's the vision? Sit down. Sit down. We just had a discussion earlier where we're talking about how we like something to look, and it was a discussion, and we are envisioning it together, and
Mm-hmm.
then at the end of the discussion, we're like, yeah,
All
that's what.
right, let's
So
do it,
now we have a plan. Now we have expectation, which is another good part of the building thing.
man. Talk about these expectations.
Man. Well, first I'm gonna go this, and then you go that way.
All right.
My thing is with expectations is once you say you're gonna build something with somebody,
Mhm.
are they actually building it with you, or was it all talk? That was where I was going at. Where were you talking about with expectations?
I think with expectations, sometimes we can't put our own expectations on how things should be, as far as how the vision is carried out. You know what I mean? There are certain things that you need to talk about specifically because people interpret things differently.
Yeah.
So I just feel like sometimes we put more expectations on another individual sometimes. And you might not be on the same page because of the lack of communication. Maybe both parties interpret it a different way. And I feel like that because for me, I'm that person. I interpret things differently. You know what I mean? And this has just been since I was a young child. You know what I mean? I comprehend differently. So the way that I'm over analytical, the way that I break things down, like in my mind is quite different. So I might have to have an additional conversation to make sure, that the expectations can be met, for said, whatever.
I know that's definitely me. I repeat things. I know I ignore her, but for me, I'm because I like when we say we're gonna do something,
Yeah.
I'm like I want that to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I hate surprises. I don't like unexpected things. I like expectations being met. That's just what I like.
Yeah.
I'm always one like if we set a goal, I'm like, are we still good? Are we there? Are we there? I know this. I apologize. I apologize.
But he's like that with everything though. Like
I know
every
it.
aspect of his day,
Yeah.
you know, has that. You know what I mean? But the good thing is it keeps you on task. You know what I mean? It keeps you focused, especially towards your goals. If you're building something, you don't have time, I feel like, to complain. You don't have
Mhm.
time to be anxious. You're not just sitting around. It's not idle.
Yeah.
You there's substance there because there's something going on, something you're trying to build,
Yeah.
and you both have a goal in mind. Like that should motivate you to keep going strong together if you have a common goal. But if you don't have a common goal and this person is just over here, this person is just over there, you know what I mean? And not saying we can't have our individual moments of time, but if you don't have something in common, like how will you always just be on, like constantly? Because you're not always gonna be on. You might not always be feeling the individual. But if you have that common goal, you can still move forward. You kind of don't, have a choice
Okay.
but to keep moving forward and pressing towards, the goal.
Yeah, sure do.
Mhm.
Good pieces. Good piece. I had to get up here and ask y'all. I've been asking everybody. I'm gonna keep asking everybody. What are y'all building? What are you building together? If you're not building something, get with your significant other. Ask them, yo, what are we doing? What?
And if you're not building something, then does this mean that you're tearing somebody down? Is
Mm,
somebody tearing somebody down then if you're not building up? Because then I feel like then that means somebody's growth must be stunted. Because I feel like there's no,
or somebody's content.
yeah, or somebody's content. And if you're content, then how can you be growing if you're just
Is
content?
is contentment always a bad? What if somebody's reached a certain place and that's where they want to be?
That means somebody faking it or somebody getting it from somebody else.
Mm.
I just feel like without certain struggles, how can you know that you two are really locked in and growing together?
I agree with that. I think wholeheartedly. I told somebody, I said, until you go through something with somebody, you
Yeah,
don't really know who they are. You don't know how somebody spends money. You don't know how they keep the inside of their house. You don't
yeah,
know. You don't really know nothing. You don't know if they have children. You don't know how they rate. Like, take the time to know who you're with, man.
yeah.
You don't. People. Why is it people think they know somebody in like 2 days? Is it just because you think it's like a desperation for companionship? Is you think it what like what is it?
No, I mean I know how I can go. You might meet somebody, you kick it with them for a couple of days. It could be just 2 days. You know what I mean,
And
nonstop.
it's the best days you ever had in your life.
And it was that outlet that you needed. You know what I mean? This
Awesome.
person, seemed to be just who they were in the moment. And then you go off and you live your life. They go back and return to, who they are, and the representative is gone because in a lot of these cases, it is a representative. A lot of times we get caught up in the moment, we feeding off each other's emotions. People
Yeah.
are, running around broken. So we do these type of things, and things happen, and you take a chance because of whatever it may be, loneliness or depression, or maybe you feel like it is really a good thing, and you just haven't done a little bit more investigating. So,
That might be a good topic for next time. The
hmm
waiting game. Because
mm,
man, it's a lot of yo. I'm gonna tell you something. Recently, I don't know. Recently we were contemplating making a purchase or something, and we almost did. And at the last second, we were like, yo, we gotta wait, right? And it was hard waiting, but the wait was worth it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And hopefully you get something from that, man. I think that might be something we get into next time, man. The wait,
yeah,
yeah, because a lot of us we got to learn to wait and be patient so we
gotta
can
be
get
patient.
get what we supposed to have versus what we think we're supposed to have.
Right,
You know?
right, right, and not just jumping on every opportunity, knowing when to wait.
Yeah, knowing your value.
Hmm.
There's a lot involved, man. Because a lot of
Hmm.
people's situations would be different if they really understood their value, walked in it,
Yeah.
and required whoever they were with to reflect that they understood that. Yeah. Final thoughts for this evening on what are you building, etc.
I just feel like it's important to just have the conversation and explore each other's minds. I feel like you have to have some type of goal for yourself, period. You know what I mean? Some type of goal in mind. It just shouldn't be just the everyday routine. People get bored, people get burnt out. And if you are with somebody and you want to, continue to grow and build with that individual, put a plan together. You know what I mean? See what happens from it. It could be anything,
Yeah,
but it needs to be, you need to be building
something meaningful.
something meaningful,
Yeah,
something to keep the peace.
yeah,
And I feel like it helps.
yeah, yeah. Man, that was it, man. Build something. That's why, again, build something. Who are you building with? And it's not just relationships. It could be your homeboys. If you got a group of homeboys that you
Yeah,
rock with,
that
your
too.
homegirls, etc., what y'all building? You know what I'm saying? You just
That too.
is it just what is it about? If it's just about peace of mind, y'all laugh. That's cool. But if not, what are y'all building? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I kind of want to touch on that. I know we, probably wrapping things up, but the majority of females that I'm around or the people that I'm around on an everyday basis, like they all have something that they're building.
Mhm.
Every single one of them. I don't have a whole lot of time just to hang out, just to chill or, parlay like I don't or chill. I don't have the time for that. And I just feel like where I want to be, you know, I, in life, period, I don't have the time or the energy to put into certain things. So even those that I associate myself with, I would prefer that they're building too, so that their expectation isn't there for me to always be available because I'm not always going to be available.
We got to get into that too, man. We're gonna talk about friends and your circle. We gonna man, it's so much stuff we about to get into, man. We gonna talk about like, does my homeboy support me or does he support our marriage? Because there's a difference, right? We gonna get into all that, man.
That's a good one.
Yeah, man. Of course, y'all can definitely, you know what I'm saying, message put in the whatever in the
In the chat.
comments, the chats, or whatever.
Hmm.
Any topics y'all want us to get into, man, we'll definitely get into it. We are rebuilding without having our grown kids. Okay, empty nesters.
Hey,
That's what's up. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. That's all I'm
that's
gonna
what's up.
say. You know what I'm talking about. That's Atlanta, and it's 116 degrees down here right now. Shout out to Atlanta. Shout out to
Yeah.
everybody, man. Thank you. This
And
is
thank you, Nicole. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Nicole's always super supportive. This was episode 1 of the For Better or Worse podcast, where we get into marriage, relationships, and all things related to life. Got any closing? How you gonna close it out? I'm about to close it.
Um, that's the gas for today. So put your foot on it.
That's it.
That's it.
Wait.